Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode here today. I hope you're all having a great day. Today, we have race number 2 of the Cup Series playoffs in round number 2 here, as well as we have some Truck Series racing in the playoffs at Talladega Super Speedway, a track that we always look forward to now. No silly season news coming at you guys today, unfortunately, but stay tuned. We've got plenty of stuff on the way, especially going into the off season now. But we come through into the Truck Series race here at Talladega, where we had subscriber Aiden Lunn in the truck for us today. As usual, we would be starting at the back of the field for this race, so we definitely have our work cut out for us, but we've been having a strong playoff so far here in all 3 series. We just picked up, win number 6 recently in the Cup Series on the season, which I think is a record high for us ever, and from spanning back to NASCAR Heat 3 even, I don't think we've ever had more than 5 wins in a season, so it's definitely been a huge season for us overall, and I hope that we can maybe get 7, maybe even 8 wins before the season comes to a close, and of course a championship. At this point, if we lose the championship in the Cup Series, it feels like a waste of a season, because there's no reason we should lose it at this point here. As we came through though down the back straightaway with Aiden Lunn in the truck for us here, as he was running this bottom lane, just moving his way forward slowly but surely here. Now, as you guys know, Talladega and Daytona, the way to move to the front here in this game is just be on the bottom at all times. And usually in the Cup Series, especially in today's episode, you're not going to see me just run on the bottom the whole time, because we have a good points buffer. So I'm going to mix it up and go to the middle, go to the top, and just try to mix it up a little bit now, as I find just running on the bottom is extremely boring. So we will definitely be changing it up today in the lines we run here. Now, as we came to a little bit later in the race, you see Aiden actually almost made it 5 wide right there for a brief moment, but backed out of it and was right behind the 88 of Matt Crafton here. But he was moving his way forwards continuously as we were closing in on the final moments of this race here at Talladega Super Speedway here as he went down this back straightaway. So he was up towards the top 15, top 20 now as he was passing that 88 of Matt Crampton as they went down towards turns 3, as it was Grant Enfinger up towards the front. But we come through now to the final lap here in Talladega, now side by side, and 3 wide actually in the middle between the 40 and I believe that was a Ford truck on the bottom now, as Matt Crafton looks back up the inside. Lassard, the 13 of Sauter, then the 21 just up in front there of Corey Heim as we come through. Now 3 wide in the middle again now. Aiden not holding back whatsoever here as we come through the tri-oval for the final time at Talladega Super Speedway now, as his run kind of stalls out right there, and he would come through to cross the line as Grant Enfinger picks up the victory, but we finish in the 8th position with Aiden Lunn behind the wheel. Angela Rutch actually almost won the race there, as there was a photo finish between her as well as Grant Enfinger, as you see the rest of the order on your screen. So how does this really affect the playoff grid here in the Truck Series? We're about to find out now, as you see John Hunter Nemechek, Austin Hill, Jennifer Jo Cobb, and Jason White down towards the bottom of the grid. Now, as you see, we are 11 points above the cut line after Talladega here in the Truck Series, with Friesen, Gutierrez, Crafton, and Austin Hill all on the outside looking in. Hill likely in a must-win situation. The other 3 can still point their way in. Now, as we come through, though, into the Cup Series side of things here at Talladega Super Speedway, the Pepsi colors back on the car, and I can tell you guys right now, this might be the last time you see the Pepsi car on our car, at least here in the career mode, because we might be switching sponsors next season. So stay tuned on that. Pepsi will still be with Going Racing with Daniel Suarez behind the wheel, but on the 24 car, it might be a little bit different now. As you see, we actually qualified at the very back of the field here for the Alabama 500, so not a great effort as usual here as you look through the rest of the order. Now top 10 rounded out by Ryan Preece in the 21 car, but up front we got John Hunter Nemechek on pole, and Corey LaJoie joining him there as William Byron, Denny Hamlin, and Ryan Blaney round out the top 5 as we get ready to go green. Alright, boys, we've had a great start to the playoffs. Everything's been going pretty good, other than Las Vegas last week didn't quite go like we were hoping it would, with that 22 being in the way the whole time, but a whole different animal today, so let's go get a win. There you hear myself on the radio as we're getting ready to take the green flag here from the back of the field. You're seeing right off the bat, nobody actually sent to the back here, so we will be starting right in that last spot, as Kyle Larson not looking as fast as expected, so that could be a bit of an issue for him there, as you see John Hunter Nemechek ready to lead the field to the green flag, as we're starting side by side with one of our playoff contenders of Brad Keselowski, his final season with Penske before he moves over to Stewart-Haas Racing next season in replacement of Cole Custer in that 41 car. Now as the green flag is out in the second race race of the round of 12 is underway here at Talladega Superspeedway. So a lot of work for us here to do today, but we've done a great job this whole season of building up playoff points, race wins, getting us even more playoff points and whatnot, and that sets us up very nicely to where we come into a Talladega race, and if we have a rough day today, we get caught up in a crash, it really doesn't affect us that much, as we can still go into the Charlotte Roval very comfortably. Now, as if we can win today, I mean, obviously makes it even better for us here, and we've won this race before. You think back to last season with this team, we actually won this very race in the spring, at least, not at this playoff race, but we still won Talladega before, so we know how to get to victory lane here at Talladega with Hendrick Motorsports, and there's no reason we can't pull it off today. Now, as you see, Kyle Larson dropping all the way back early on, you did see in the pre-race there, he wasn't looking as fast as expected, and it was showing right off the bat here, and that could be a problem for Kyle Larson. He is above the cut line, but not nearly as comfortable as a driver like myself is now. As you see, we have 14 laps in stage 1, which means that without any cautions or anything, we will have to make a green flag pit stop, so that's going to be something to keep an eye on here. If we do get a caution, then it will be really close if that caution does indeed come out now, as we are actually going to drop in behind that 5 of Kyle Larson here momentarily now, as I wanted to make sure we help our Hendrick Motorsports teammates out any chance we can get, so I was making sure Kyle got in front of me. Bubba Wallace ended up dropping to the back here in that 2311 Toyota Camry. Now he will be teammates with the number 45 car, which will be the second addition to 2311 next season, with Derek Kraus behind the wheel, sponsored, brand new sponsor on that car. Originally it was going to be Ineos. You guys saw that paint scheme. I can confirm it's actually going to be a different paint scheme next season and sponsor, which I'll unveil in the off season here. Now, as we were working our way forwards with Larson a little bit now on lap 4 up to P31, moving our way towards the top 30. Zane Smith in the 7 McLaren car was currently out front. That car is still yet to be determined who's going to be in it. We know Smith will not be at McLaren next season. Now is actually behind us. We got trouble. Kyle Busch, a playoff driver, actually crashes with Alex Bowman, our teammate. The caution's going to come out on lap 4, and Kyle Busch is going to be an early exit to the Talladega Superspeedway race here today now, as that is the end of his day already. But fortunately for Kyle Busch, he won last episode at Las Vegas and is locked in to the next round of the playoffs, so that does not affect him whatsoever, but an early end to the day for Kyle Busch now, as we would all stay out and get ready to go back green here now with less than 10 laps remaining in this first and opening stage from the 30th position, right behind the 5 car of our Hendrick Motorsports teammate of Kyle Larson. So obviously not the best start to stage 1 so far. We've only gained about 10 spots in the first 6 laps of this race, and not a great restart either for myself now, as we're actually forced for a moment 3 wide by that Red Bull driver of Casey Kane, another driver who will not return to the Cup Series next season. You might see him actually appear, though, in the modded Dirt Series, so stay tuned for that. But a lot of lineup changes coming next season, and I really didn't anticipate this many changes myself, but things just kind of naturally happened, and now we have a whole bunch of lineup changes that still are unannounced that you guys will see coming here at the off-season video. But it was Zane Smith still out in front of the pack, as we were now 3 wide in the middle, right behind that 42 of Ross Chastain. Chastain finished runner-up last episode to Kyle Busch at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. He was very close to victory now, as he almost passed Kyle in the tri-oval when Kyle went all the way to the top and Chastain was all the way at the bottom. Now, they're actually 4 wide in front of us. We got the Red Bull, as well as the 17 car, the 5, as well as at the very top, the 33 of Austin Cindric, who's just kind of backing out of it. He says, nope, I am out of here. It is way too early to be racing like this now, as we're stuck in the middle. I couldn't really go anywhere here, so definitely not the restart we were looking for, as I just have no chance right now to drop down. We come through to lap 9, down into turns 1. Finally, my opportunity opened up to get down in front of the 2 of Brad Keselowski, as the 21 of Ryan Preece was currently out front, and Ryan Preece has gone a lot further already in the playoffs than I anticipated, because he was about 28th in points going into the playoffs when he picked up that win at Martinsville, and that was the only reason he made it. And then he won the first race of the playoffs, got into this round, but he's actually having a solid round. He's not very far below that cut line there, as I get into the back of the 6 of Todd Gilliland out of turn 4. He goes sideways down the front straightaway, makes a big save right there, but that stacks all of us here on the inside line up. Kyle Larson right behind myself, falling down the order along with myself as Keselowski goes by on the outside. Brandon Jones right here on my right side now as we go back down towards turns 1. So with 5 laps to go in stage 1, we're not even in the top 30 at the moment, so we are clearly in a bit of a predicament right now, as we got to try and work our way back forward. So we would now actually look to the inside of Todd Gilliland here, down the back straightaway into turn 3, and now we get ourselves back into the top 30. As you see, Ross Chastain working with the 19 of Harrison Burton there, and Joe Gibbs Racing, as now Eric Jones in the McLaren had taken the lead from his, I guess, McLaren teammate at one point of Zane Smith here now as we head down this back straightaway, approaching the final few laps of the second stage, and now we're in towards the top 25, so we're starting to work our way forwards here as the laps wind down in stage 1 as we come through turns 3 and 4. Now in lap 12 though, we actually have pit stops starting to get underway. William Byron comes into the pit lane, and I didn't even realize that we had to make a green flag pit stop at this point, so I look at my field and I see, oh, we have 3 laps of field, we're coming to 2 to go, so we actually don't have to pit. So now we're approaching the final lap of stage 1. You see a bunch of drivers pit right here, or at least a couple, Corey LaJoie, and I believe that was John Hunter Nemechek as well. So now I look to the outside of that 2311 car driven by Bubba Wallace approaching the final lap of stage 1. It appears that maybe that Ford car is out of field now as we go 3 wide in between the 2 Toyota drivers, and we definitely got cars out of field now as I have nowhere to go behind the 78. I have to nail the brakes to make sure we don't cause a big incident there as he appears to be out of field, and I just made the wrong move at the wrong time, and next thing you know I'm staring at the back bumper of that 78 car who is way off the pace, but now he seems to actually be speeding up, so I don't know what's going on at this point, but now it looks like he may be slowing down again, so it is all over the place. The field light comes on my car now, but we can easily make it around one more time here as we go down into turns 3 and 4 side by side with that 6 of Todd Gilliland, who's going to get held up by Anthony Alfredo, who is now out of field as well. But as we come through out of turns 4, Eric Almirola in the 43, he comes into the pit lane, as well as you got drivers like Derek Kraus and Christopher Bell coming in, as well as they're all running out of field in the travel. I dive to the outside, and we're going to go around, and all of a sudden we're going to be into the top 10 as we come through to the line, just about passing the 47 of Stenhouse, and then I slam into the back of the Red Bull of Casey Kane, and that's actually not a good thing at all here, as all of a sudden we're in the top 10 in a wild end to stage 1, but I ran right into the back of the 82 of Casey Kane after the caution came out, and that means that this car is not going to take off very well for the start of stage 2, so that is going to be a bit of a problem. I actually let off the throttle coming to the line because I saw how fast I was going at those guys, and unfortunately our AI still drove right into the back of them, as William Byron, Corey LaJoie, John Hunter Nemechek all trapped a lap down because of that, and there's going to be some drivers here that might not have to pit, so that's going to be a bit of an issue as you see that top 10 on your screen. So we, of course, will be coming into the pit lane for 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 fresh tires, and we lose 2 spots on the pit lane because drivers like Christopher Bell and Eric Almirola were able to stay out, and that's going to keep Byron and them a lap down here as we get back underway for stage 2, and sure enough, the car does not take off whatsoever, so I pull off the tracker, pull to the left as we'll go through into the ebb segment. Not the ideal start to stage 2 for us here today, now in Talladega, as we find ourselves right now in that middle lane here as we drop down to the inside, actually in front of our teammate of Alex Bowman, but the car did not take off there on the restart. Now we find ourselves in, what, P25 here, so a lot of work to do to get ourselves back towards that front with less time. Here in stage 2, actually, now as there's now some smoke pouring out from a car in front of us, the caution comes out early on in the second stage. I can't really get an idea of who that is, but either way, caution is out. I actually initially thought it was coming from the 9 of Chase Elliott, but that was not the case. Elliott will remain in the race and no problems for him. but I can tell you it would actually be Joey Gase being the reason for that caution there. So that would be the end of his day, second DNF of the day. Kyle Busch coming on lap 4 of this race. So now we get ready to go green for a restart here in the middle of stage 2 on the inside line, right behind that 12 of Ryan Blaney here, who just got eliminated from the playoffs a couple episodes ago. He fought so hard to be that last car in, and then ended up being the first car out. So it was very unfortunate for Ryan Blaney. Now the season again he was looking for. He actually had a couple wins. I think it was in the first season of our Cup Series career, and then he's actually been like winless ever since. So it's definitely not been what he's been looking for, and you might end up seeing him maybe go to a different team at some point here as well in the career mode. And even same for Joey Logano. He's getting a win or two per season, but other than that, he really hasn't been doing much in the playoffs here. So definitely got to watch for drivers like Blaney, Logano to maybe switch teams now, as we're 4x4 for a second here. 2 rows deep. Kyle Larson in the middle there. Then you got the 21 and the 96 there in the middle of this row, as we're just trying to follow through with that 16 of Haley, get the draft from him as we go down into turns 1. But we settle out there 3 wide, as they were still going like 4 wide behind us with Kyle Larson and whatnot. But now we finally get settled in, so we go from like 20th all the way up to 12th in just a matter of seconds all of a sudden here in Talladega. So now closing in on the end of stage 2, as Joey Logano was currently out front. We are back in the mix, and we have a huge run down the straightaway. Look how fast we're going with the draft. 212 I saw there miles per hour for a second right now, as we have to end up just kind of pulling out there on the back of the 9 car of Chase Elliott, unfortunately. But we had a huge run there. It's not very often you get a run like that, but we ended up just kind of sticking with our Hendrick Motorsports teammate of Chase Elliott here, as we were 3 wide in the middle. I was trying to make sure that I didn't make him a draft partner, because they seem to run worse when you're draft partners with them. So I was just trying to lay off of him a little bit of contact actually with the 82 of Casey Kane, who appears like he was trying to force it 4 wide for a second there, and I made sure that was not happening. Now as Joey Logano leads over second place of our future driver of Daniel Suarez at Going Racing. Some contact back there between the Red Bull and the 78 car, but they would keep it straight now as we came through though to lap 9. Now 3 wide on the outside, as I unfortunately get to the back of the 9 and hit him again. He goes sideways there. Elliott nearly crashes the car, but makes a tremendous, spectacular save right there out of turns 4. But unfortunately, both of us fall out of the top 10 as I'm trying to get him in the top 10. He picked up some crucial points in stage 1, but unfortunately, as we came through the 2 laps to go, you see me get down to the bottom. I try to leave a hole for Chase to get down into the inside, but unfortunately, he never really took the opportunity. So I would just continue on my way here, closing in on the back of the 2 of Brad Keselowski, and we would pass Chase Elliott as we came through to the final lap now of stage 2. I look to the outside of Brad Keselowski as we go down towards turns 1, so up to P14 to the back of the 21 of Ryan Preece, looking up the inside now of him, right to the back of Bubba Wallace in that 23 car, as Kyle Larson was now out in front on this final lap of stage 2. These are going to be another crucial points for one of our teammates now, and this will definitely help build up a comfort gap above that cut line here as we go down into turn 3 wide with that 21 and the 96 of Preece, as well as Brandon Jones. Kyle Larson leads over Noah Gragson, who's trying to look up his inside on the exit of turns 4 here as we come through down this front straightaway for the final time in stage 2. So far it has been a wild race here in Talladega now as we come through the trial for the final time. Keselowski giving us a big push as we come through to the line. It's not a great stage 2 effort for us here, but we cross the line to finish P11 now, as it was, not Noah Gragson going for the stage win. It was Austin Dillon in the 3 car who was pressuring Kyle Larson there for that stage victory, but Kyle Larson would end up holding him off as Kevin Harvick gets up there in P3, so some good points for him as well. And Chase Briscoe, a couple drivers right there, not in a great spot in the playoffs right now, picking up some very important stage points. So we would come into the pit lane here for 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 fresh tires and get ready to go green for the start of the 3rd and final stage there. As you see, John Hunter Nemechek, he's going to get the lucky dog right here, which puts all of the remaining cars left in the race back on the lead lap here, as we will now be on the outside for the restart as a green flag is back on. The start of stage 3 is underway, but you look behind us, we got our rival of Joey Logano. We know the suspension situation by now, so I decided, you know what, I do not want anything to do with that. I pull off to the side. I know we're going to give up some crucial time here, but we don't need to be getting ourselves suspended at this point in the season. If we keep on racing Joey Logano the way we are by not running into him whatsoever, I think we will finally be back to a more friendly status by the time the season comes to an end here now as we come through out of turn 2. Unfortunately, we're in trouble now, 3 wide on the outside, and we really don't have much help. I see the 10 of Matt Benedetto in my rear view mirror that might be closing in on the back of us and maybe could link up as a draft partner here. That is sure enough exactly what he is trying to do in that Smithfield 10 Ford now, as I can confirm we'll have some new modded paint schemes for Matt Benedetto actually next season in the career mode. Vixen, one of our community members, made a few schemes for him and for that 41 of Brad Keselowski as well. for the 4 of Hailie Deegan. It's like a Stuart Haas Racing paint scheme pack essentially for next season of the career mode. As you saw me backed out of the throttle there, I did not want to run into the back of that 22 of Logano, so we are once again giving up some time just because of that 22. And if you remember back to last episode with Joey, it was very tough because we ended up being just kind of around him all race long at Las Vegas, and I could not pass him to save my life. And the one time we did towards the end of the race, a caution came out immediately and put the 22 right back to me and made it so hard. So very fortunate that we still haven't run into him and gotten ourselves suspended, so hopefully we can spend the rest of the playoffs keeping it just like that now, as we fall down to P29 as Kevin Harvick currently is out front, but there's still 14 laps to go at this point now as we pass Daniel Suarez and now move down to that bottom behind Eric Almirola. So once we get down to that bottom, we start moving our way back towards the front, hopefully here now, as we have a lot of ground to make up, but now making it 3 wide here through turns 1 and 2. We had actually passed the 43 of Eric Almirola, now up the inside of the 95 of Derek Kraus. We have the 32 of Corey LaJoie closing in on the back of us now, 4 wide for a moment down the back straightaway. Corey LaJoie, as you know, that car in general, the 32, will be replaced by Kevin Harvick's Cup Series team, but I can confirm Corey LaJoie will remain in the Cup Series next season, and definitely probably be on a better team considering what he's driving now. Pretty much anything is better than that. He won't be on a top team, that's for sure, but he will be on something better now as we came through at a turns 4. It was currently the colleague racing car of Justin Haley out in front, and we just continue moving our way forwards here on the inside line as the laps are winding down now up the inside of the 2 of Brad Keselowski, who is pretty much the only car left for Penske Racing in the playoffs right now, and he's actually doing a superb job so far in this second round to definitely be a threat to make it into that 3rd round and potentially somehow advance his way into that final 4 now. But I definitely look at myself and Harrison Burton as the 2 favorites already to be in that final 4 at Phoenix Raceway here as we get past the 2 of Keselowski up the inside of Joey Logano. I was a little bit concerned there, but fortunately Joey doesn't try to come down the track and run into the side of me or anything. So now we're to the back of that 20 of Christopher Bell here with 8 laps to go in the race. And now as we close in towards the final laps, we're starting to work our way back towards the front when it matters the most. Now trying to pass that 20 of Bell 3 wide through turns 3 and 4. Unfortunately, he pulls that side draft on me, and he's going to have a bunch of momentum down the straightaway because he also has a draft from the 4, and I had no draft at all for a moment. So that allows the 20 to actually get back out in front of me. So we would have to try again down the back straightaway on lap 41. We once again look up the inside of Christopher Bell. Denny Hamlin now inside the top 10 as Kevin Harvick's just in front of me as well here down this back straightaway. Harrison Burton up in the mix as we go down into turn 3 wide with Harvick as well as Hamlin. Kyle Larson having a strong run still as Justin Haley continues to lead the way now as Ross Chastain runs P2, trying to go for a win today in Talladega. He almost won last episode in Las Vegas, would like a little bit of redemption. He did get his first Cup Series career win at Martinsville last season in the career mode, actually over myself, if you guys remember that far back now as we come through out of turns 4 on lap 42, approaching the final handful of laps in this race. Now 3 wide with the 78 as well as Chastain. Haley loses the lead and now is dropping back as the 21 of Ryan Preece is out front now as the caution actually comes out with 6 laps to go here at Talladega. This is going to force everybody into the pit lane. Very easy call to make here. Half a can of fuel was all I ended up putting in. There was no need for tires, and we'll easily make it to the end of the race on half a can of fuel. As you see, John Hunter Nemechek appears to be the reasoning for the caution now as he's down to P37 and not pitting. So yeah, definitely Nemechek bringing out the caution now as you see the order going into what could be the final restart of the day. And surprisingly, the drivers either took more fuel than I did or they took 2 tires, because here we are leading all of a sudden for a 2-lap dash at Talladega. This is not at all what I expected or the spot I expected to be in, because here we are all of a sudden with 2 laps to go at Talladega Superspeedway in command here. We haven't been a threat all day long to win this race, and all of a sudden we are in position to win this race. I don't know if the AI drivers took 2 tires or if they just took a whole can of fuel. I only took half a can of fuel and no tires, so clearly we did something different and took less than what they did. I was honestly thinking it had to have been tires, because with half a can of fuel we're actually still good for an overtime attempt, so it just did not make sense for them to take more fuel now as we are underway down the back straightaway, a lap and a half to go, and we're gonna really have to watch out for where these runs are coming from. Right now nothing's really organized behind us. You see the 19 of Harrison Burton, he jumps up to the top. A very bad move right off the bat now as we have about 2 to 3 car lengths over second place, which now belongs to Justin Haley. Christopher Bell there in P3 here as we come through out of turns 4, and none of them really try anything, but I see a bit of a run forming back there from that 42 of Ross Chastain, but then he actually drops down to the bottom. So right now it's single file. It's perfect for us. playoffs as we come through to start the final lap here at Talladega Superspeedway for the second round of the playoffs. And the second race of the second round here is now the second lane is forming. Haley moves up. He has help from Ross Chastain. We have 6 wins on the season, and we are looking for win number 7, which would definitely be a record for us. Now as we come through out of turn 2, Haley to the outside as we exit turn 2. I'm going to pull up and side draft him, and now we get a bit of a push from the 42. I'll drop back down to the bottom to make sure we had that covered, and we're going to have the 20 coming from behind here as we go down into turns 3 and 4 for the final time in the Alabama 500 side by side with Justin Haley. He is looking for career win number 2. He won a rain short race at Daytona before. Now as we come through out of turns 4, it's still going to be side by side as the 20 is going to get to the back of us, push us down the straightaway, 3 wide for the lead. Now Haley in the middle with no help. Chastain with help from Joey Logano through the tri-oval for the final time in Talladega. It's going to be side by side coming to the line with Chastain, a photo finish as we get win number 7 of the season. Unbelievable. I did not expect to be in victory lane here. As I mentioned going into that final restart, we hadn't been a threat for the lead all day long, and we just made a different call, put ourselves out in front, and we just barely won over the 42 of Ross Chastain. That's his second runner-up finish in a row. Once again, almost a photo finish for him, 2 races in a row there. So, wow, I did not expect that, and honestly, I saw that run coming out of turns 4. I decided to commit to the inside and just see what happened, and fortunately, it worked out in our favor. But win number 7 on the season is something I never expected to say in the NASCAR Heat career mode. So I honestly don't think we'll ever do this again, at least in this game. So we'll have to wait and see, of course, what happens in the seasons coming. But a great finish, of course, overall, and that puts us now locked into the next round of the playoffs as you see the rest of the finishing order on your screen. Kyle Larson ended up dropping to P18, Chase Elliott in P23. I don't even think he was in the top 30 with 2 laps to go going into that restart, so a great recovery for the 9 of Chase Elliott. Bubba Wallace dropped down quite a bit, and so did Denny Hamlin and Matt DiBenedetto, a few playoff contenders. You see the playoff grid now. So, of course, myself and Kyle Busch locked in with the race wins. Burton locked in on points, but everybody else is still up for grabs here now as Chase Briscoe is 7 points below. Priest, 9 below. Chase Elliott was over 20 points out coming into this race, so he gained some ground. He's only 14 below going into one of his best tracks. And then you saw DiBenedetto there over 20 points out, so he has a lot of work to do going into the next episode, which is an elimination race at the Charlotte Roval. And you think about the Charlotte Roval, another track that we're really good at. There's really just 2 more tracks this season that I have circled that we can be a contender at, and that's the Charlotte Roval as well as Martinsville, not counting, of course, Phoenix. So honestly, we could go win 8, 9, maybe even 10 races this season, which would be insane. Unlikely to do that, but I mean, 7 wins. If that was our last win of the season, I'm definitely happy with 7. That was so far a great season, and hopefully a championship season in the making here now as we close in towards the final races of the playoffs. So as always, if you guys enjoyed, you do know what to do. I would like to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch this episode. It does mean a lot to me. You see, our average finish this season is 6.4. It's been an incredible season for us now. Couldn't ask for really anything better this season now, other than maybe like a Daytona 500 or something, or a Coca-Cola 600. But there you see that playoff grid one final time before we end this episode. So Briscoe out by 7, Priest by 9, Elliott by 14, going into one of his best tracks. DiBenedetto out by 21. He's going to need a miracle probably at this point when he's not that great at the Charlotte Roval. But before we end this episode, I would just like to say a quick thank you to the Going Racing members on the channel of MJ, Joseph 9001, RJ, Timothy A, Bubba Jr., King Matt XL, Brett Durward, Dark Gengar Gaming, as well as AJ Vestura. As I always mention, you guys know it. You help me out a lot, and I really do appreciate it in trying to make this dream of full-time content creation come true one day. So I appreciate your support. Now, see you guys in the next one for Charlotte Roval. Have a great day, everybody.